Welcome back to Ask the Wizards here at Wizard Academy. It's January 2nd, 2026. Who knows what's going to happen next? I'm Dave Young. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Wizard Academy, and today I'm joined by Steven Semple, who is a Wizard of Ads partner guy and one of our teachers on the faculty at Wizard Academy, an adjunct instructor. And he volunteered to pop in here in Daniel's stead to answer a couple questions.
You didn't tell me I'm filling in for those are big shoes. You didn't tell me I was filling in for Daniel.
Well,
can I refuse now? Can you find somebody else?
This is weird though, right? Because I'm introducing us as recording something together, and I do that all the time. You and I record a podcast together, Empire Builders, and so
yeah,
this feels pretty natural. Just welcoming you in as our sidekick. Appreciate you being here. And
thanks for the opportunity. It's always fun.
Wizard Academy mug.
It's totally not a cult. Totally not a cult.
We have merch for sale. Just saying.
I love it.
Where would I be if I didn't put in a little blatant plug for Wizard Academy? Let's get right to the questions. William Lear.
Yep, Lear. That's right. And this is my
either way or Lear.
Lear. Yeah,
that was
my first
sense.
ever
webinar
with you guys since I started working here. So.
Awesome. Welcome aboard.
For sending in a question. This is a really interesting one, and it actually these two questions are so related today that I think we're going to kind of enjoy it. Wizards at Ralco Radio, we often communicate that digital advertising is effective for capturing the 5% of consumers who are actively in the market right now and for driving quick promotional responses. In contrast, we view radio as stronger for long-term brand building, reputation, and creating top-of-mind awareness among the other 95% who aren't actively shopping at the moment. My question is, do you agree with this distinction? Or in your experience, can digital platforms such as boosted Instagram and Facebook photos, reels, and other social content be used just as effectively as radio for broader awareness and long-term brand building? All right. Steven, I have thoughts. Do you have thoughts? Do you want to?
Well, yeah, I've got a couple. And the first thing I want to add is I want to make a distinction. Where the digital platforms sit well is for that 5% of consumers who have a need for the product and do not already have a preferred supplier. So it's for the undecided. There's lots of people, and we see this when we build campaigns with strong radio campaigns. We will all of a sudden see a tremendous amount of website search that is direct search. So in other words, they're typing in our guy's URL, which means they're bypassing PPC and they're bypassing all of those things because they already know who it is that they want to work with. So that's an important distinction because PPC cannot create that. PPC only responds to undecided consumers in the moment of doing a search. Decided consumers bypass that and go straight to who it is that they want to work with. Okay, so that's first of all, because that then also ties back to what's one of the powers of something like radio. When you create a really strong branded radio campaign, what ends up happening is you win people before they need you. So in the moment of need happens, they come straight to you, and pay-per-click cannot do that. Now, second part of your question, and the most important line in there was effectively. Can social media and boosting Facebook posts and things like that do it as effectively as radio? And the answer, so if you're going to do those strategies, such as Facebook and social media and things along that lines, you have to create a strategy that has high repetition. You got to reach the person on a regular, ongoing basis, which is actually very hard to do with Facebook ads. It's really hard to reach the same person on a continual basis. The other thing is, if you're going to do that in social media, first of all, the social media has to be interesting, entertaining, not about your product or service. You can't be selling all the time. And if you're not doing at least, at a minimum, a post a day, don't bother. So in other words, it's a tremendous amount of work and commitment. The other thing is, I'm going to argue it's never going to be as effective, because what it cannot do, you don't have a dial that you can control the tomorrow where you can say, hey, tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a radio campaign that reaches hundreds of thousands of people with high repetition.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we could make that happen tomorrow. And I'm not reliant on an algorithm or all these other things. What we know from the Nielsen studies is you can build that type of campaign. So my argument is it's very hard for it to be as effective. So that's basically the long and in the short of the answer. And Dave, what do you have to add to that?
And I'm going to ask you, William, where did you get the 95% who aren't actively shopping at the moment versus the 5%? I mean, it feels like a pretty broad generalization, and that's where I'm going to give you a little pushback at first. Like, why do you say 95 and 5?
I think that's when I started working at Rawlco. I've been working there for just over a year and a half now. I think that's just kind of what I was told as a generalization as
and
well.
I would agree as a generalization. It's a good conversational way to represent it. But this is we're not big fans of asking AI to write for us. But what AI is great at is answering questions. And this is what I used to run into in radio all the time. Is 95 and 5 is sort of a general thing. And one of the things that people usually just don't take into account is the product purchase cycle, how long it is before we have to buy that product again. And that's where the 95 and the 5 goes right out the window, because if we're talking about dining out, right? So way more than 5% are going to be making a decision on where to dine out. So I actually went to Perplexity and I said, hey, in a city of 1 million people, how many people will be making a decision today on where to dine out? And it justified it all. It said, well, based on this, here's how many people dine out. They dine out 2 to 5 times a month. And so out of 1 million people and this many households, it did all the rationalization for it. And it said you can figure on maybe 100,000 to 170,000 people out of 1 million making a decision every day on where they're going to dine out. Okay, so that's well more than the 5%, right? That's 10 to 17%.
That's 10 to 17, yeah.
Right? And then I said, okay, what about insurance? How many people are making a decision today on whether to change insurance companies? And so out of 1 million people, it did all the same justification. And it said probably 1,000 to 2,000. And that all depends on, is it car insurance? Is it this?
Right.
What car versus I just life? Said insurance. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
yes.
Around 1,000 to 2,000 people every day out of 1 million are going to make a decision about some kind of insurance. Well, that's only, help me with the percentages here.
That's like 1%. Yeah.
So 99% of the people in the town today of 1 million people, 99% of them aren't making a decision about.
And engagement rings will be even less.
What's that?
And engagement rings will be even less.
Absolutely. So I asked about HVAC because our next question is about HVAC. And so how many people are in the market looking for a new HVAC system today out of a market of 1 million people? 55 to 70. Right? 55 to 70. So, and 75% of those already have somebody in mind. Right. So really, and so percentage wise, what's 55 out of 1 million? What's 70?
I think it's a half of 1%, isn't it?
No, not even close.
Or 1/10 of 1%. Sorry, 1/10 of 1%.
But basically, who's not looking for an air conditioning company today? Freaking everybody. Right? Hardly anybody's looking for an air conditioning company today. So here's the cool thing. Whatever client it is that you're talking to, You can ask Perplexity or ChatGPT to do the math on this, right? So did you have a particular client in mind, William?
No, I didn't have a particular client in mind or anything like that. It was just more so as like percentages aside, as a generalization, like Arelco, we kind of communicate like, the digital ads are great for capturing the people that are currently in the market for your product.
Yeah,
where radio's really affected that.
And see, so business
I need
owners
to
think
change
that the people that are currently in the market is a huge percentage. It's not, never is.
But I'm also gonna make a strong distinction here because it's important. It's the undecided people who are in the market. It's not even everybody who's in the market. It's those who are undecided that are in the market. There are many people in the market who've already decided who it is that they want to work with.
Yeah. We're going to
not
get that in the next question.
Right. So that's the other thing is you can actually win people before that moment. That's the fallacy. Because it comes from this piece of data that's misinterpreted. So there's a piece of data that basically says, and it used to be 80%, it's now way more, but we can all agree that the vast majority of people before making a decision go to the web, do a search on the web. That's true. But that search might be typing in. So basically it means we've gone to the keyboard, we do a search on the web, but the search on the web might be searching, the client might just be typing in the name of the company to find the URL. That still counts as a search before purchase, but it's not really a search before purchase.
It's like looking somebody up in the phone book.
It's like looking, but already knowing the name and going, it was like, it was Xeon Plumbing or something like Xeon Plumbing. I'm going to type in Xeon Plumbing and get the URL and go to it. Or I'm even going to type in xeonplumbing.com in the web. That still counts as a search.
And I just realized that I probably date myself. William, I'm looking at you and you look young enough that I would guess that you've never actually used a phone book.
I've never used a phone book.
Never, yeah.
All right. Well, we're done with him. We're done with him.
The thing is,
I don't like feeling this old.
When we say it's like looking up someone in the phone book, that's Google, right? And so sometimes you're searching in Google for a category, but sometimes you're just saying, I can't remember the name of the sample company. And so I'm just going to type it into Google or Google Maps and it's going to find it for me. I don't need a phone book. Yeah. Right. And so there are two different uses of a search engine. One is to find a particular company and one is to find a type of company that you're trying to then decide between. And so when I say like in a city of 1 million, 55 to 70 are looking to replace an HVAC unit and 75% already have a company in mind, that leaves hardly 20. Anybody that they're all fighting for in pay-per-click, right? Yeah. So if there's only like 10 or 15 households in 1 million that are just trying to find a company that don't have anybody in mind, man, those guys are bidding like crazy on those because they think they've got a chance to get them. And it's a little crazy. So specifics are more believable than generalities. So when you're talking to a specific client in a specific category, make sure you ask Perplexity, what market are you in, William?
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. How many people are in Saskatoon, or how many people in your coverage area?
I'm not sure exactly. I think around 300,000.
Okay, so you can go right to Perplexity or ChatGPT and say, in Saskatoon, you could say in Saskatoon, it might have a good answer, but and it could extrapolate based on the category, but you could just say, hey, in a market of 300,000 people, how many people are in the market today for athletic shoes? And it'll figure it out and give you a number that's way more believable than 95% and 5%. Right. And so you can go into a specific category or specific business armed with that kind of information, and it'll make your pitch way more powerful. And you can say, look, the few people that are actually in the market today, man, they know where they're going. They know what they're going to do. But what are you talking? We used to say when we were selling remote broadcasts, make sure that you talk to the 99.9% of the people that aren't coming to your stupid remote. Right? You're on the air talking about hot dogs and Pepsi Cola and a balloon bouncy house for the kids. What are you saying to the 99% of the people that aren't going to show up? And you need to be talking to them because they're the ones that are going to come by tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. And so what you're really trying to do is purchase a little bit of the real estate in their head. Was this helpful, William?
Yeah, it was helpful, and I think it's also good because I do use that generalization, the 95-5 rule. Mm-hmm. I've been using that, so I think it's kind of good information to know, like, it's really specific to each business.
Yeah, and it's a very broad generalization because it's way more than 5% if it's something that we do every day.
Yeah.
And it's way less than 5% if it's something like a mattress or an air conditioner that, lasts years. You can absolutely do that math on a client by client basis and walk in with that. And then the Instagram and Facebook, like Steve said, I know that there are companies that hit me with multiple ads. Like if I click on a Hoka shoe ad, I can expect to see Hoka shoe ads for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. So the frequency is huge. And
yeah, but
I might click on them more than once because they might show me a different pair, and I go, "Oh, I wonder what that." And so, but the thing is, they don't have control over that. They've just told Facebook, "Here's our ad, and here's what we're willing to spend." And the fact that I bought a pair of Hoka shoes yesterday, Facebook doesn't care about that because they can still charge Hoka for me clicking on it today, right? And they can still charge it for displaying it to me today. So they don't. There's no way they can, unless you build an ad that is really attractive and clickable for people, you just don't have the kind of control. Radio is still an intrusive medium, right? You can't hide from it. If you're in the car and a radio ad comes on, unless you're willing to change stations, you're not going to hide from it. Facebook, Instagram, just scroll right past it. So, I think we got that one. What do you think, Stephen? Anything else?
Okay. No. It's the controllability that's a real difference.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Let's see here. Share.
Yeah, because this next question is kind of related.
From Trish Bezboratko. I hope I said that right. Wizards, I have a plumbing and heating company. Again, this is we've sort of already answered this question. I'm letting you know. Plumbing and heating company I'm trying to work with, they are radio curious but have yet to even have a face-to-face meeting with me and have taken a digital route this past year instead of allowing for the opportunity to understand and learn more about how we can help using radio. I know you've worked with HVAC companies. What insight can you potentially share into how best help this client in this industry? They offer maintenance plans, renovations, new builds, rental options. They have thousands of 5-star reviews, and as a client of theirs myself, I can attest to the good work they do. They say they're busy, but I know that they aren't running their crews 5 days a week, despite the market needing more plumbers desperately for the amount of building that is currently taking place. And that tells me there is room to grow. Thank you, Trish Bezboratko.
Okay.
Stephen?
We need to do something here. So at one point, she referred to them, I think, as HVAC and the other being plumbers. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to assume HVAC, although it doesn't really change the answer much. It just changes the scenario.
I think they do both, plumbing and heating.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's plumbing and heating? Okay. Yeah. All right. I missed that. Thank you. Again,
William, I'm going to remove the spotlight. There we go.
So this is one of those categories where in one way we can predict need, and in another way we can't predict need. So in other words, air conditioner, last 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever number you want to use, which means you can look at a community of 1,000 buildings and you can say, 10% of them are going to need a new air conditioner. You can never pick out which one it's going to be, right? And when it breaks, like with plumbing and heating and air conditioning, when it breaks, what the person wants is it fixed quickly. So they're immediately going to be, they jiggle the handle and the toilet's not working. They turn on the air conditioner, it doesn't click in. The brain is going to be, I have to get this fixed. Who do I know? Now, if they know no one, they will go to the web, and the AI writes the web, so writes the ad, so it's hard to figure out which one to pick, but somehow they'll pick one. But what you want to have happen is in that moment where you jiggle the handle in the toilet or you turn the air conditioning and you go, crap, I've got to get it fixed. Right. There's Dave Young. Dave Young's got a great company. I'm going to hire Dave. And here's what it has nothing to do with: the list of services. Because you know what I know? If somebody's a plumber, you know what I know they do already. You don't have to tell me, oh, we can come out and unclog a toilet and fix leaks. Really? Because what plumber doesn't do that? You're a plumber. I get it. You're a heating and air conditioning person. I get it. You don't have to tell me you both repair and install air conditioners and furnaces. I get it. You are a heating and air conditioning company. You're a plumber. And you know what? There's not a lot that's done differently. So, what is it all about? Becoming trusted, becoming loved, becoming known, becoming top of mind, so that in that moment you go, you know what? I know I've heard about this Dave Young guy. I really like them. I think they're wonderful. I'm going to call them and get them to come out.
That's it. I mean, when I talk to, again, clients just like this, plumbers, heating and air conditioning, my goal is to make you the most famous plumber in your town.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
I want to make you the most famous plumber in your town. And here's the issue. As we mentioned during our answer to William, in a city of 1 million people, and this was HVAC, we'll just use those same numbers, 55 to 70 are looking for a replacement on any given day. That's just right. 55 to, that's not percentages, that's
people.
4 dozen people.
Out of 1 million.
Right. Out of 1 million. So hardly anyone.
That's less than around. And you know what that rounds to? You know what that rounds to? Zero.
Zero. And 75% of those already have somebody in mind. Right? So now if you're on this digital only thing, you're duking it out with the other HVAC companies for a dozen clicks a day, and you're outbidding each other, and Google's laughing all the way to the bank because they don't care, right? So here's the thing: those are really expensive clicks, and they end up being not very profitable because a lot of the profit that you would have made on the job goes into the click, and the people that click for one are probably also the people that are going to get 2 or 3 bids.
Well,
right.
Yes.
And so now it's already less profitable, and now you better have a low price to beat the other 2 people that clicked on the ad. And if you just spend your money on branding and being the most popular and the most famous plumbing and HVAC company in your town, people just call you. And you can still you'd be a fool not to do a digital campaign for your name, right? So you tell your people that run your pay-per-click, I want to buy clicks for my name. And I don't care what those cost. They won't be very expensive, but it's just you need to make sure that you have a doormat out to welcome people in who are just looking at the ads. Don't worry that you're paying for something that they were going to find you anyway, because you can't even count on that anymore. Google won't necessarily even move you up into the organic rankings so they even find you. So make sure your ad shows up. Those ads are cheap. The clicks are cheap because they're not going to convert well for anybody but you.
So There's something I want to add to that, and it comes down to the cost of the clicks in terms of. So I was meeting with a plumbing company recently, and we're putting together their strategy, and they were showing me, that their per click cost is like $50 or something like that. But then I discovered they also offer on their pay per click strategy to help entice. They offer like $100 coupon. And then I said, okay, so then really your cost to click is $150. It's not $50. So a lot of times the actual cost is higher. But there's something I want to add. It was Trisha, right? That was the. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Trisha, when you're listening to this, here's something I'd like you to do. It's a fun little exercise that really cuts to the chase on a lot of these things. Ask your customer this: is trust important? Here's what they'll go: oh yeah, trust is very important. So how important is it? Oh, it's absolutely important. Explain to me why it's important. Well, we're being invited into their home. Okay, awesome. Trust is important. Then you ask your customer the next thing, and you write these all down. Write them down. What do you guys do to build trust? And they'll go, well, we show up on time. We do what we say we're going to do. We have transparent pricing, blah, 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 blah. You write all those things down. I said, great. Where does this happen in the sales process? Is this after they've decided to hire you or before they've decided to hire you? And almost everything they're doing on the trust building side is after the person has reached out. I said, okay, great. So that's all sales activity stuff, all super important. But wouldn't it be nice to build trust in your marketing? How do we build trust? Now, is your most trusted friend the person who only shows up the day that there's something in it for them? Or do they show up sometimes just because they want to say hello? Mm-hmm. If you want to build trust, trust takes time. You can't go from, you never build trust by going to marriage the first time you talk. You ease into it. And that's what a radio campaign can do. A radio campaign is first date, it's coffee, it's lunch, it's movie, it's building relationship and trust if you allow people to get to know you.
Oh, I've heard
and you
them.
can't do that on pay-per-click.
Yeah.
And you can't do that on pay-per-click because there's no time.
Yeah.
I jiggle the handle, I turn on the air conditioner, I need somebody. If I'm relying on that to connect with that person online where they don't know us, there's no opportunity to build relationship. None. Zero. So if we really and truly believe it's important, we need to build relationship with people before they need us. That's how it's done.
Yeah.
So try that little exercise out, because anytime I've done that with people, they look at that list and you ask them, you don't tell them, when's this happen? When's this happen? When this happened? And they'll basically go, crap, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Not before. Yeah.
Not before. Well, would you like to do that? Here's how that can happen.
Absolutely. So, here's the other thing, Trish and Chad and William, you can do this as well. For companies like this, if they say, well, that's, of course you say that, they're your radio station, right? And that was the challenge I had when I was in the radio business was, well, of course you're going to say branding is the way to go because you're in the radio business and it works really well for that. Yes, it does. So does TV. So is right, billboards. There's lots of ways. There's a number of ways to do it in mass media, but this is also what some of the biggest names in advertising in Europe, Les Binet and those folks are talking about. 60% of your budget should be in brand building. And the other thing that, like, if you're talking to a plumbing and HVAC company is, look, have you heard of Ken Goodrich? Have you heard of Dewey Jenkins? These are gigantic U.S. companies that sold their companies for, well over $500 million or right in that ballpark. And they built it by branding. They didn't build it by pay-per-click. And the reason I know that is I know the people that did it. I know the people that did their campaigns, and it's the same people. It's the same guy that started the Wizard Academy, and I watch their videos and I subscribe to the things that they do and the things that they teach, and this can work for you. It's not just our radio station saying it, right? It's something that's been proven in the real world, and that may help. Because I think sometimes when you're in the business selling advertising, and all you have to sell is your station, they kind of put up their blinders and think that you're telling them things that would only benefit you. And for you to break through that, tell them things that are true, that would be true of any mass media. And
here's, yeah, and to that point, here's the other thing that digital people don't want to talk about. The ads are written by the AI.
Mm-hmm.
So you have almost no control over messaging when you write a pay-per-click ad. Because the AI, now you can influence the AI, but at the end of the day, you know, like what I find really interesting is having this conversation with a client where we're running where we're putting together a radio campaign for them, and I talked about how, you know, they just need to run it the way we write it and all that other stuff. And they're like, well, I'm really uncomfortable with that. I said, well, you're okay with it when it was Google AI writing the ads, who's never met you and never talked to you. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, the AI writes the ads, man. You write the ad you want to do, and it rewrites it. So you also lose a lot of control in that situation.
The AI knows who those 50 to 70 people are that need an air conditioner today. Right? Because they've started giving indications of that. So the AI knows how to target them, but it also knows that those are rare clicks and expensive clicks, and you're not the only one that wants them. So
hey, it's bidding war.
Get in line, pony up. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll see you next. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but the first Friday of February, we'll be back with more answers to more of your questions. And hope to see you at Wizard Academy sometime soon. Thank you, Steven Semple, for hanging out.
Hey, thanks, David. This was fun. Yeah.
All right. See you next month.